bad people never think they're bad. They just occasionally make bad life choices which they kind of, you know, suppose justify it. But their general day-to-day stuff, they don't wear a kind of black hat and a cape and go around kind of laughing maniacally. And they're not obviously evil, except for maybe Jimmy Savile, you know.
Ben Wheatley began his career making viral internet videos and animation shorts before turning his attention to filmmaking. In the run-up to the release of his movie adaptation of J.G. Ballard's seminal novel High Rise, we're here at the Barbican, one of London's most famous high-rise complexes, to meet the man himself. I heard that the Barbican was voted London's ugliest building.
What? When?
I think it was about 10 years ago.
Yeah, well, no, God, I wouldn't say that. There's plenty of other horrible buildings that have been built since this has been built, I think. I like it, it's like a castle, isn't it?
For Ballard, I think he kind of saw the high-rise tower as almost like a character. Is that something that you were thinking of when you were planning for the film?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the tower is a character within it, but also, yeah, just in design terms, we wanted it to impinge on the people. I mean, I kind of experienced it in a hotel in Stockholm. It had no consideration for the people staying in it, so they put the architects just gone ah, you know, and there'd be these beams through the middle of the rooms, you know, like ducking over them to get to the sofa. Thinking, well, this is arrogance, you know, in building form, you know, and we wanted a bit of that in the tower.
You built all this.
I put all my energies into this tower, but I am the architect of my own accident.
Is that a horse?
Probably.
On the 40th floor?
With Ballard and with High Rise, there's sort of this idea of a social utopia that then collapses. Do you see any parallels with the resistance to sort of social engineering in London in 2016?
I mean, it's the same as that is a resistance to any kind of strong dogma. I mean, I think it's that, you know, Royal within the film is someone who has the arrogance to think that he can make an environment that will make people think in a certain way, and they rebel and they become very different from his initial plan. It would be a kind of pointless thing to make films that have no relevance to now. Even if you're making a sci-fi film or you're making a period drama, they really should be talking about this moment, because otherwise what the hell are you talking about, you know? That's one of the things that attracted me to the book. I mean, I read it when I was a kid, but then when I reread it, stuff jumps off the page, like the fact that everyone in the building is filming each other all the time and projecting it. You know, the walls of the building end up like YouTube, effectively. But it's no surprise that Ballard is, you know, predicting all this stuff way ahead of time, and that was his gig, you know.
The heritage of dystopian narratives is quite a British thing. Was the film Brazil much of an influence?
I think Brazil is an influence to me across all the movies I made, and it's one of the movies that made me want to make cinema in the first place. I remember seeing the trailers for it when I was at school. I mean, I was probably about 13 or something, and just thinking, I need to see this movie. And I remember buying every magazine about it, and I've got Brazil on every format that it's ever come out on, and kind of obsessively buy it. It's one of those movies. It's the same with Blade Runner as well. So I try not to be that kind of postmodern filmmaker that kind of looks at stuff and then recreates it, but inevitably these things come up.
My favourite thing about your films is actually the realness of the human relationships.
You know, the more real that you make the emotional honesty of it, then the more chance you've got of getting through to the audience and for them to relate to the characters. They're good and bad often, though. They're good and bad at the same time, you know, and I think that's, again, trying to be real, and that we like our characters, you know, we like them all, no matter how despicable they are. I mean, especially someone like Wilder in High Rise. He's incredibly charming, but he's a monster at the same time.
I think we should be prepared to meet moderate resistance.
The ones who are the real danger are the self-contained types like you.
Perhaps you're right.